Welcome to Winternomics.eth. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Welcome to Winternomics.eth. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Welcome to Winternomics.eth. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Welcome. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome. 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 Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, winter, winter. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winternomics. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome. Winternomics.
What up, what up? How's everybody doing? Can't believe it's fucking Monday already. 141, boy, that's low. Guess all the panic's gone, huh? Well, appreciate you loyal ones that always show up. Alright. Wow, it's even worse, huh, Cross? Thanks. Was there a weekend? I don't know. It feels like the news flow keeps it moving so you don't feel like there's any breaks, doesn't it? Got COVID resurging in Shenzhen. That city's on lockdown. That's a major part supplier. And then you've got war at the same time. You've got Macron talk about fucking what if famine. Pretty much like the fucking 3 signs of the apocalypse, right? 17 million people on lockdown again in Shenzhen. That fucking city's huge. The amount of cities they have that are bigger than New York City is pretty crazy. Are people traumatized from Friday? So I'm getting that a bit, you know. A lot of people are coming out of my shows that I guess apparently traumatized. And I don't really think about it. I guess I just go through the motions of reading what I see. I don't realize people are fucking so sucked in they're about to fucking jump out of their fucking buildings. Apple, like Monk says, I got a good friend in Hong Kong saying it's mad over there. The whole of the Netherlands is 17. Wow, that's crazy. The 4 horsemen of the apocalypse? Well, we got a supreme being, we got Goku, and we got Leon. I guess we just need one more, and then we'll have the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, Nomics style. So, market has a little bit of a bounce pre-market, but surprisingly, there's a very high VIX still. VIX is actually bouncing with it, which is always alarming, to say the least. Well, as coach, take a look at the macro. I think there's a lot of people are dying to find their way into shit, and that's always alarming too. Gonna talk about big old penis, Kathy. Alright, let's see what else we got here. So I see 141. What do you guys see right now? Are we still way below 200? Elon tweeting insane shit. What do you mean? I saw he tweeted about inflation and that it was better to own assets and that he wasn't selling crypto. He challenged Putin to single combat. I think he'd lose that. Putin's in shape. Elon's not. Putin's 70, but he doesn't look like a 70-year-old guy. He'd whip Trump's ass. Oh yeah, Barnomics. I guess Barnomics was a dude at the bar. I just called it fucking Barnomics because I was drunk. But yeah, I guess he could be the 4th horseman. Grandma's not a fucking dude. Grandma can't be one of the 4 horsemen. She's just the bitch that's always around. All right, let's see. So this on the front page. Let's just see what's on the front page of CNBC. What are they telling the plebs? Dow futures jumped 200 points as investors monitor Russia-Ukraine war. Fed's next move. Well, that's ambiguous and useless. Some things that are definitely going to happen that we should talk about as far as valuations in the market go, right? Russia changed pretty much the forward landscape for every single analyst out there, right? Whatever your expectations of what Apple was going to do, what Google was going to do, what Caterpillar was going to do, what Disney was going to do, should all be vastly different. Here you see Citigroup cuts price targets, citing potential hit from Russia loans. Well, everything Russia's touching right now in the interconnected economy is going to change drastically. If a bunch of your big businesses have like literally cut one of the superpowers out of doing business, right, then there's no way that the growth forecasts of these companies could possibly still be the same. And that's something we can talk about. We talked about Facebook. Facebook, when you think about it, right, had his business pretty much crippled by Apple and Google, and then had to basically figure out they would, to participate with what's going on with the U.S. Blockade on Russia, not take business from probably one of their biggest customers, who's really big on manipulating the public through their advertising campaigns. So then you had to cut out, Facebook right now, even the little market bounce you had is down all morning. This guy's like literally got a torpedoed business, but how many businesses now, based on like trying to restart in really difficult conditions, has a completely different forward look than they did before? McDonald's is going to have to shutter like 850 McDonald's over there. Great level. But these companies, like forward pictures, are really different than when you were going to the end of last year with the situation unfolding. And even if it were to resolve tomorrow, right, the trade landscape with Russia is changed so much. So your big companies like this, we're talking about this guy. This guy's an interesting area right here. But Disney, you think about it, Bob Iger got out of this company, pre-COVID, and really at a good time. Right now, how will any of these guys really grow in the near term with what's going on over there, and what's happening to the West and the East, splitting into like two different blocks? The forward visibility for all analysts is really murky at best. And if analysts have a hard time forward projecting what growth and revenues are going to happen to these companies, then they kind of peg the expectation of the marketplace as to where these companies can surprise and disappoint from these growth targets. So that all of that just increases risk going forward. So we definitely want to take a closer look at this guy today. See that Goku's still providing support, and look at where opportunities are, because everybody and their mom is really rushing to catch the fucking knife, and that's the scariest thing ever. Because in real pullbacks from highs that are viable, where you're going to make new highs, nobody wants to pull back. That's what allows you to go higher. In this instance, Kathy and everybody else out there is trying to fucking catch a knife. That looks really apocalyptic when you look at shit like this. Like ARK, I would want to figure out where to catch that. That thing looks fucking horrific at this point. Can we check RFP? Yeah, Putin's a KGB guy, former KGB. I think he used to be a taxi driver, he said, when the USSR fucking collapsed. Or no, he made a living as a taxi driver at one point to survive. Shout out to Eli, dropping 10 stacks. That's the way to get the day started. Appreciate you, Eli. I hope Discord and OnlyFans are keeping everybody safe. And for you guys that are now inside Discord and have the coordination from in-house, hopefully that's made a meaningful difference in your ability to utilize OnlyFans. I know if you can't use it, it doesn't really matter, right? So we're trying to make sure that everybody gets a chance to see the intel before things change. All right. So what do you guys see now? I see a $1.82. Do we make it to 200? I'd like to at least start the macro section once you get to 200. Wow, what a struggle. The struggle is real. All right, so let me get my Reddit page up. Any scorecards today? Any scorecards posted while we're in show? First things first. Let's see. Forex Factory. So we do have Powell speaking this week. That's our major event risk for the week is what the fuck comes out of these guys because they've been jawboning that no matter what, they're going to raise rates. And now you've got fucking one of the most epic fucking second reasons to fucking change your tune behind COVID, which is, a burgeoning war in Europe. So now nobody can be really sure what the fuck these guys are going to say. This is fucking additional risk. So the VIX is likely going to stay high going into this because any estimates of what these guys are going to say, something has to moderate. If they stay the exact same course they were on, which already was worrisome to the marketplace to maintain growth, with their stimulus being removed in the taper and increasing cost of funds, if that, that was already scaring the market that it could create a recession. Now, Russia combined with the exact same course of action is definitely a recession. So they have to moderate this somewhat. And now, without any visibility of what exactly they might say based on their jawboning, right, this, no matter what, is going to cause a really volatile fucking spike in the markets whenever they say whatever they fucking say. GDP from New Zealand and what they say is going to matter, and employment from Australia. All of this is pretty big event risk in the same day, along with retail sales. What gets said about this is it'll tell you about the consumer at the same time as the Fed is going to tell you what they're going to do to the fucking country. And then, inflation data from Canada, you may not think it's as important, but inflation's a worry everywhere in the world, so it will matter in the currency markets. This is the Central Bank of Australia and what they say. You probably want to see this. They're a commodity-backed country. And then this is fucking Britain Central Bank. So this is a busy fucking week, and all these guys now have to make adjustments based on what's happening with Russia. So no real visibility with really big announcements coming equals lots of volatility, lots of risk. So keep that in mind. This week can be pretty fucking insane nonetheless. As always, appreciate you for putting that up there, Is. I don't think any of these earnings matter half as much as what we just saw right there. FedEx, these guys could be worth paying attention to out of all of what's on here, but nobody here really fucking matters compared to the central bank stuff. One and only one. Jester, what up? OG from Nebula 1. I've been working on consistency by stacking small wins over time. The one thing that helped me with that, which has been mentioned many times before, is stepping back time frames. Zooming out has been a major key to improving consistency. Instead of being tunnel vision on seconds charts, the minute charts have been more beneficial for me. Plus, having a small watch list so my focus is directed rather than scattered. During all market times, it's crucial to have a source like Winternomics.eth to help you with your trades. Now, during these crazy market times when the VIX is hot, we realize even more how amazing it is to be part of this ecosystem that helps us prepare not only financially but also mentally for times like these and for those to come. Grateful for being part of the eco. Hope to be for more years to come. Appreciate you, homie. He's been here since 2018. He's never done anything else since he got into our eco. This is what he does for a living. So, good shit. Very cool chart. I still need to figure out how to get these things off of here for backgrounds, but that's dope. During liquid times alike, you damn right. Respect. Hype train level 2, 91%. Will we make hype train level 3? Alright, so that was a good scorecard. I want to see some more scorecards, make sure I know you guys are making it. One thing I tell you, our show volume is tightened up a lot in this high VIX environment. And this is the environment that literally kills people. Like a sustained high volatility environment. You had this kind of shit like post internet bubble, post banking crisis, post COVID. Sustained high volatility market. That shit kills people. There's a good portion of the audience that from talking to people I've seen come into there it is, high chain level 3. Appreciate y'all. Come into the Discord and pretty much like I had people thank me for like discovering stop losses, and there are people out there saying trading, watching the show 6 months before they decide to start using them, and there's just a lot of people who are in the market like that don't have any risk management, and the kind of movements you'll suffer in this marketplace will really devastate you really fucking fast. Shout out to our boy for throwing out 10 subs. Hope so. The people who get that use it. Um, Let me show you some things here. So I guess we can move into our macro section. You guys have seen the kind of percentage moves that are going on and things. This is one we just talked about a minute ago. But give you an idea, this is March 8th to now. You have to look how crazy this is. Like, these are gigantic moves that are happening, like in just days, The market's volatilities are really insane. When you look at like what single day movements are, this stuff is devastating to anybody that's not using good risk management, how fast the market is moving. And as long as you stay in this crazy ass VIX environment like this, I mean, look where we're sitting. This is the more complex VIX chart. But right, again, so you guys pay attention to this Goku level. If we, which is the chart I did on, it was probably this guy. Yeah, this is a less complicated VIX chart. So our big worry is that you get a bull flag out of this upward rising channel, and the bull flag finds a way to rotate around this Goku level and go back up in here, and things get even worse. So like right now, right, the market is even pre-market up something. Let's see. Like the Dow's up 170 points right now, and the VIX is bouncing pre-market. It's positive. So if we look at it like on lower res, it's like the VIX is up on the opening right now of the week. So this is the only scary as shit, is that you're seeing the VIX bouncing with the index bouncing. One of these guys is not telling the truth, So today's session will probably likely prove that. But like we said, we have a lot of event risk this week that makes this week kind of like not really likely to see the VIX really fall too far, while you have multiple central banks trying to figure out how to adjust to excess stimulus in the system, as well as like what to fucking do about inflation and fucking a definite slowdown to everybody's economic forecast. So that being said, right, where Putin is fucking us right now is actually interesting to pay attention to, because as much as we're sanctioning and damaging his population, what vectors are really left for Putin to fuck with the West, on his end? All he's really got is really food and energy, right? That's really the fucking weapons that Putin has access to. He controls fertilizer, he controls fuel costs, he controls travel, he controls the economic speed of the West without the West really realizing it or having an offset to do anything about it. So as long as the West is going to tighten the screws on his economy, his ability to fuck with our cost basis, for things that are inescapable, gives him really crazy controls on the speed of our economy and the ability to turn it back on. Had a conversation in Discord about this, and I also wrote some posts on it on Instagram. You have to think there's no way that he timed an attack in March behind the pandemic with supply chain issues when he did. It puts him in a crazy position of leverage, because the amount of stimulus that we put into the system to restart the economies of the world is literally been jammed by the supply chain, and now jammed further by him adding onto the back of it with cost of fuel. If you jack everyone's gasoline up to $5, $7, $8, $9, you'll effectively turn off the American economy, because pretty much after $4, Americans start to make decisions between what they can do with discretionary spending. Once they're paying that kind of cost, the check American just doesn't do the same kind of pastimes. Travel, all kinds of planning changes to account for that kind of cost. So Putin is not exactly as powerless as people think he is. And that's one of the things, the big sentiment out there is that he's lost already. The U.S. couldn't put away ISIS and, the Taliban in a decade. I don't think you want to bet they put away a nuclear superpower, in a few weeks. So that being said, the Goku cheat sheet. So where's this thing at? So Still trading between Nomics and Goku's original introduction as who he used to be, Ragnarok. What a fitting name. Below fucking his level is probably Ragnarok. So we should keep that on watch. We're still watching this pullback to see if we do get a rotation or, if we do get some kind of break. The VIX right now, again, like you said, right, is kind of like chilling in this region that, like, if he pumps again, the S&P is likely going through Ragnarok. And that whole, humbling of the investors that Goku spoke about back here, may come to pass. So if we get under this level, we definitely want to pay attention to it, especially since we have that level in two places worth paying attention to. It's either down to here and markets pump on this Goku level, or this bounce goes up through here and we get a spike down to Goku level on this side of the fence. For those of you that are new, have no idea what I'm talking about, somebody will have to drop a reference to which show that came from. So Qs definitely don't look good, right? This looks like shit. All things being equal, this does not look like viable at the moment. And this is what, like, you see people like record amounts of money pouring into stuff like this. So I had a convo, let's see. So I'm not trying to traumatize people, but let's go revisit some stuff. Oh, fuck. What symbol is it? FX. Oh, I hope I didn't fuck that up. Which one is it? Damn it. Which chart did I do this stupid fucking chart on? There it is. So, did some things I'm going to do here on the show with you guys. Let's get this off of here. Stop it. This thing's still driving me crazy right now. I need you out of the way. So, we made this projection on the show quite a while ago. I believe in 2020 we do this chart out. Can't remember what show it was, but if Gamble's around, he might have the notes to tell you what show it was. So this is the original emoji chart I made for emoji cycle chart on the NASDAQ. And in this projection, right, one of the things about a crash cycle that you see is there's kind of like two phases of it, right? Like you have like this trajectory here that's at one angle, and then you have a steeper trajectory that's so bad. That's at another angle. And this acceleration, is like the heavy markup phase, where they say like marketing, where it's on TV and everybody and their mom is starting to find out about it. If you see this right here, this is October 1999, and this is the internet bubble. All right, the internet bubble tops in March. It's just 6 months after this acceleration happens, and this is pretty much what most people remember of the internet bubble. That's where really, really wild stories were of people making like insane returns and overnight millionaires and stuff like that happen. It happens really in this part, right? You don't really hear much about it like in this kind of like lower angle trajectory. Let's put that like at red, right? This kind of lower angle trajectory, and price kind of, you can see, right, it's parabolic. It steepens up and it goes to an unsustainable trajectory that if it maintained this kind of a steepness, everybody in the planet would have to join in to keep it going at that pace. It's an unsustainable structure in nature. So you always kind of want to look at that, and we know that when you zoom out, things skew and things can get steep again. So we kind of drawn this out, so we can use this guy here as the red trajectory, and you can see like the slightly steeper trajectory, and then of course, right, your steepest trajectory that we've seen so far. And it does kind of have like those three phases to it, where angles up. So when you compare fractals, right, like this is kind of what I was looking at last night. That's fucking fucked. All right, this kind of rising channel we talk about a lot. We see that in price a lot when you're pumping, and a lot of times you draw projections where you could have this kind of situation happen, bull flag come out of it, then it restructure and continue a trend. But in rare cases, right, you can accelerate out of it. And so if you get that, it's likely going to accelerate and keep accelerating until it fades that next angle, because that's like a blow off of a crash cycle is what you'd be seeing. So with looking at this, right, you kind of see this happened in oil, right, where we're watching oil kind of do that same rising channel, then it accelerated to the whole number, right? So you tend to have this kind of like rising channel and it just gets gas. And here there's a lot of doubt where people think the market's about to correct and it actually just catches fire. And this is like the part that people literally can't get their minds around. It moves so quickly. These are the crazier emotions, right? Belief into thrill, and thrills catches people fucking in a dump move. After the dump move, everybody who ever missed this entire cycle wishes they could get a piece of it, right? So in complacency, you have the people who are late to the party, who are at the same prices where it's been or a little bit off. And then when it starts to dump, the people who are late that never got a piece of it buy it and stay shit like Kathy. Like, trust me, these are great companies. I'm a genius. Like, she's not leaving. It's every other reason except for the fact that she's late, right? It's the Fed, it's Putin, it's everything else. Those are the kind of people that happen in denial. So Kathy's like that sign, right? We talked about Kathy's fund. When you look at it, Kathy's fund looks like this shit. Let's put this on the right. Kathy's fund. Kathy's fund. Kathy's fund. All right, so Kathy's fund is not sort of kind of like this. Kathy's fund is this, right? And the sentiments that she's echoing are very, very internet bubble-like. Like the kind of like, I will not be getting the fuck out no matter what. You need to be holding for 5, 10, 40 years kind of sentiments. That's exactly the kind of shit people were really saying on the way down here. And you look at the structure of this thing, and it literally, everybody and their mother is willing to buy Kathy's fund. She's got the greatest inflows like in the last like 4 or 5 trading days ever. Like more people than God are trying to catch this knife. I didn't get to have Square or PayPal, and I'm going to have them now, right? These things are down 70%. These are ridiculously humongous moves. The situation that Putin's got out there is definitely greater World War III risk than the fucking pandemic ever was in fucking any other previous event. It's the first time a nuclear superpower is moving on anything in Europe. So looking at this, I also look at the pump that you have here. 105% move from, here. This is what most people look at and they think this is the real bull market. But we use logarithm scaling to kind of show you that that's actually the tail end of it, right? The real bull market's everything that led up to that. Most people don't realize you're in a bull market until almost the end of it, right? This is the real bull market. Almost 500% move occurs long before you actually realize this is happening. But if you look at it this way, you won't realize that. It looks like the bigger parts at the end. So you have to look at it the same way, right? Where does this really go to? Or where's your version of this? I know this is kind of long-winded. Bear with me. But I think it's worth you seeing it. Am I retarded? So this trajectory change, really happens from here. Kind of makes like this. Really that section. And so we look at it from, here to there. You could probably look at it actually, that's kind of like really deep. Let's put it from the correction that we have down here. But it gives you kind of the same approximation, right? The biggest part of the pump isn't really the part that looks like the huge part from COVID. It's really everything from the bottom of fucking the banking crisis, right? When you compare this structurally to the internet bubble. This trajectory blow off from COVID is really like more like the part that people caught on to late as thinking it was the bull market. The fundamentals that are inside of this, this arc, both of them are eroding fundamentals that kind of led you here, right? The country really was an upward track until you hit COVID. Everything really changes at that point. And same thing is true here, right? The country really is an upward track until you hit like the Asian contagion, which puts a ripple into the entire global banking system. And then you end up in a war and blindsided, in 9/11. The country's entire fundamentals changed, along with a rate cycle the Fed was doing to change the cost of money drastically into this. You have kind of like a different version of like a hindrance on the country, excess stimulus, and now you have likely a rate cycle. You have a couple of things that are similar, not necessarily the same timing, but the pandemic definitely changed the forward realities of growth forecast for every fucking company out there, and that's what Kathy's investing in, is growth companies. That literally the fucking growth of the entire U.S. economy has been shut off by two major crises over the last 2 years. So you have the same sentiment, right? Like the never say die fucking sentiment. And when you look at this, you can be like, oh man, well fucking Kathy's shit's already crashed. But this is something to think about. FX. NES 100. All right. How big is this dump really? How big can it be? And where's Kathy's fund in it? Look at things like this. This is a 39% drop, which puts you like about here. You see this thing, well above where it broke out from. If you were to get that same thing over here, you would give the market quite a bit more downside without people being able to realize it, right? 35%, 39% puts you somewhere down there. And about the same location too, like, just a little bit above the breakout. It would give it definite room to run. You look at some of the stocks that came down. I look at some like quality names. Right? Apple's definitely a quality name that everybody fucking pays attention to. But you pay attention to this guy, like, there's your crash cycle of Apple back in 2000. And looking at this dude, there's an 81% move. But even just through the base, right, that's 50% down from the highs. Just if he was to break his complacency shoulder, which Apple doesn't even really have yet. That'd be a drastic move, Apple, to do a 50% down move. But, I'm not trying to freak you guys completely the fuck out. But when you look at things like this, these guys are fucking crashed, right? What Kathy's holding, the growth name she's holding, they're not sort of fucking down. This is just actually looking at a crash that's happened. And Kathy's still trying to fucking buy into this. Market doesn't really reward people that fucking eat entire fucking cyclical crashes. And so, like, the sentiment out there is kind of like everybody when their mom wants to buy. But Putin definitely represents a risk that this is the one time people should be questioning things. COVID, how could you possibly recover? Blah, blah, blah. Well, Putin's changed the entire landscape of fucking, like, the entire world and the way that trading blocks are organized. You can't possibly have forward visibility now if you didn't have it before Putin happened. You know what I mean? So there's just some definitely things to keep eyes on. Anyway, that being said, it's a bunch of context stuff. Strong dollar, again, represents something serious that you should pay attention to. This is never really a good sign, as strong as it is, especially with geopolitical risk. It's kind of telling you, like, about the conditions of the market. You're at a very risk-off condition in the market. You're not even close to 20. So no one should really be thinking about any kind of, like, long-term anything in this. This is, like, the kind of thing you don't call the end of. You let it fucking prove itself it's ended, and you have lots of time to participate. Just like when this came down, from here, there was a lot of time to participate. But with a rising trend structure like this, VIX rising trends and VIXs around the world rising, it's definitely fucking like, warrants a degree of caution. So that's the DXY, that's that. So that being said, all right, crypto. Crypto is definitely a risk asset. And we've looked at this thing in a ways, and it's definitely taken a lot of time. And it's sat in a place that definitely, if we have a forward visibility problem and an increasing risk scenario, then crypto is absolutely a risk asset. And we have to give this thing, kind of like both a double-sided view. Is it still structurally an uptrend? Yes. Is it the kind of uptrend we like to see where you just barely break a high like that? No. That's a 2B. And usually in this kind of situation, right, we want to see it come back and rotate, at least be supported on the way back up. So it's at least done that. It's held grandma for quite some time. But there is definitely risk, right, in the system. And if stocks can go down much lower, then we want to look at guys tied to crypto that are tied to stocks that can give us a good read. Crypto has been relatively strong, in the last couple of weeks with what's going on. But let's look at a guy like MicroStrategy, right? That guy is definitely crypto, and he's leveraged fucking crypto. Big time leverage. Down just like Kathy's fund. 70 fucking percent. That's definitely a bear flag. And that's definitely a bear flag under a critical level that we shouldn't take our eyes off, because he's definitely a great proxy to What made that something else? He's definitely a great proxy on crypto assets. So I think he's a guy to pay attention to him. Of course, Riot and all these guys are the same thing, right? These guys look far less healthy. None of us would really be trying to run into and buy something that looks like that. But that is definitely a correlated asset to fucking crypto. These guys are definitely not healthy. And so when you look at these guys, like, as a kind of a correlated asset, looking at even Tesla, right? Tesla's back in the 700s. That's definitely not good. Tesla south of 820 is not healthy. So all these guys have the room to come down. Nobody wants to not be long these guys. Everybody's dying to own these stocks. And like I said, rushing to catch a stock that had gone as parabolic as PayPal down this percentage amount, 300 to 90, that's just late money, what Kathy's doing. And as long as her sentiment's there, you have to view that sentiment with regard to some of these guys. Right? The whole plan is literally long every risk asset and trying to find a way to experience this move again. That's just the wrong sentiment to make bottoms. You know what I mean? So I think that card VIX, crypto. I put a sheet inside of OnlyFans for you guys. Pay attention to this guy. If he breaks out of this shit, this is not a healthy thing. So, you pay attention to this. This would pretty much be crypto's de-risking if that guy goes off above that. I have a more complete sheet that's up to date in OnlyFans. Or it's over there. So definitely keep your eyes on that guy. And, keep your alerts on this. Why is this in percentages? This was my taper timing date, which, I believe the taper is actually already done. But again, we're waiting for what the Fed says now. So if the Fed says the wrong shit today, this could really send shit off the deep end. So would pay attention to it. 852. Did you guys get all that? That was a lot if I came back over here. People are still plowing Kathy's anus. The GNO is exactly right. All that printed money for so many of these stocks to completely retrace the COVID pump, that should be alarming as fuck. Jan said he reread Fractal Truth of Markets this weekend. Great follow-up. Well, awesome. Yeah, that's a good read. So do I see show numbers at 236? Is that right? We're still down on the ground. Respect, Mal. Appreciate the 5 stacks, sir. So, as crazy as things look, there's always a bull market somewhere. We definitely found that with some of the commodities. And, the market can de-risk tech all day, and there'll still be some really great shit out there to make plays on. Estonada says, Supreme Being entered the chat while you're reviewing NAS 100. Oh, damn. Goku said Supreme Being's got nothing on him. I don't know if we want a turf war between those two guys. The whole world hangs in the balance right now. All we need is Leon to fucking just step in there and try to swing his fucking big old fucking khaki weenie. Let's see what we got. Maddox. DLTR. Alright. MATX. Matson. What is this? Marine shipping. Interesting. First symbol, Matson. That guy is pretty fucking steep. You look like you found yourself the bull market with that guy. He's kind of long. He's kind of long in the tooth. Like, this is the kind of thing like to see him break out above it. What the heck? That's kind of not what you generally want to see him do. Like you have to see like a channel like that, correct, and then rotate in this kind of situation, right, he's either going full fucking gas pedal now, or this is a fake breakout. So if he comes back through here, he's dangerous. So you just want to see him stay up there, and either he does a bull flag at this res and takes off, or he chops a little bit more and then comes back up and goes through it. But for the most part, you'd like to see him stay up here if he's going to maintain this kind of trajectory. So we put Dollar Tree. Dollar Tree is always good to watch in a potential recession scenario, because people have to change consumer habits and start to buy cheaper things. So your lower end stores tend to do really good in this kind of situation. LVMH, your luxury brands tend to do worse. So that's a good pickup that somebody did to put that in the chat. That's one of the few bright looking assets right now. Don't I have the stock already? DLTR? Nope, apparently not. Yo, what is going on with this thing? Jesus Christ. So, interesting break. I think you gotta pay attention to if he stays back above that, if it's a fake break right now. If the market de-risks too hard, he'll still pull this guy down. He might be relatively stronger, but you want to watch how he is right now. If the market catches another sell-off, it might pull him back a little bit, but he'd be better just to fully clear this thing and stay above it. He already did one fake break. I'd let him fully clear it and stay above it before you fucking try that guy. But he does look good. RFP, LAC, RFP. Resolute Forest Products, pulp and paper. Natural research, natural basic materials and stuff like that are all pretty good. The cost of everything is rising, so this is probably not a bad idea. Let's see. International paper. It doesn't look that good. This is lumber that we did. Let's see. RFP. Not bad, right? You want to see them above that. Well, yeah, these are two pretty good bull ones. Dollar Tree and a guy dealing with pulp and paper. Two good picks. Oh wait, you had ADM, Archer Daniels Midland. Dude, that guy deals with well, he says here milling. Thought he dealt with fertilizer. So everything that's pretty much in agriculture looks fucking completely crazy. On the back of the fact that we talked about it in the last show that Putin has control of our food supply, basically in fertilizer. So anybody who can produce fucking food, help in food yields, looks fucking crazy as fuck. Also, so some of these guys you see here are also in the same kind of bull flags that you see oil guys in, like MRO, right? They all are in the same size kind of structures, and this kind of just tells you this technical structure was always aiming towards a crisis situation. So these do look pretty interesting. ADM, he is a bit of a stick. No, not AMD, ADM. So you could got like Archer Daniels Midland. Don't have it over there. Alright, this resolution. It's kind of parabolic. So you got to play this guy tight. If you know the marketplace is pretty news driven, and what's driving this right now is definitely tied to the situation that you have going on in Russia. So at the speed that this is moving, it's kind of thing like you had, like I talked about before. You have to play him at low resolutions, right? This guy isn't something you can sit back on anymore while he looks like this at a weekly. He's just a stick. So all you can do is fuck with this guy on some kind of time scale like this. That's where he broke out from. At this point, same thing is true here. He's out of this range, and all you could really do is fuck with this guy like here. Okay, what the fuck? Oh man, dude, Chrome's been doing some weird shit today. What the fuck is going on? I can't zoom out. This was happening earlier. Yeah, this chart like just fucking died. Unbelievable. Fuck. There it goes. Weird as fuck. I try not to do stuff this low resolution on this show because it's like liquidity things, but this is all that's available on this guy. You look at him, he's pretty news driven and stuff like that, and that's what you're dealing with. Like, there's nothing really to show in any other resolution. The guy's a stick right now. So as long as the kind of like, event driven risk that's going on in the marketplace persists, this guy will have like the catalyst to keep him moving. But you're playing him on pretty low resolutions on what I showed you. Otherwise, you'd have to wait for a bigger consolidation, something like this, to make any other kind of plan around while it finishes a markup. So you're marking up from that. This is pretty much until it runs its course, until it corrects again. It's a little dangerous in any resolutions outside of the low one I just showed you guys. LAC. Oh, I didn't realize I jumped something. LAC. What's this guy? Lithium America. So clean energy stuff. I do think clean energy stuff is on your radar. The government's definitely going to point money at it. But I think people reacting to it like it's like an immediate solution to a fucking like near-term issue are misguided in that, right? The oil situation is like pressing. It's right now. This stuff's all going to take time to be meaningful, and I think that's why Elon said what he said. Like, you're not going to get a solution for green energy overnight. So, you watch this with like a degree of caution. But again, we have a threshold above the highs of the last system. That's probably the safer place to wait till it can rotate and show some strength through that. And even right now, it's still showing weakness like Tesla is. Like I said, Tesla and MicroStrategy and these guys definitely warrant some caution with where they are right now. Next one you had MTTR, Atom. Okay, 3 of those. MTTR, what is this thing? Matterport. I remember hearing about this thing before. That was the warning I gave you last time, right? He was parabolic as shit. Why is this thing missing chart right now? That's weird. Oh, okay, yeah. We talked about this guy. He was parabolic as fuck, and that's dangerous, and that's what can happen. So, yeah, it looks like garbage now. I don't think we need to go over that guy. Atom USDT. That's definitely not it. Where the fuck is the Atom chart? Atom, projected bull flag, still inside of it. Not much else to really talk about in this guy. He's kind of churning. You've got a few trigger levels, but he's kind of still waiting to see. AAVE USD, AAVE USDT. That doesn't look good. He's kind of pushing out the bottom of this. I have to say, he looks kind of like he's not really maintaining any structure on that. On the downside, he's really just kind of crashing. So, we looked at this. He did have rotation once here. He never broke out his flag when we last looked at it to push up. He's broken through the floor. I think that looks pretty bad. If he stays underneath this, he's really just doing what I think MicroStrategy is indicating is happening to a lot of these guys. God damn it. right? I think like he's actually leading MicroStrategy down, right? This last wave. So I think a lot of things look kind of sus right now. Don't like that guy right now. What's the other one? Wave USDT. Wave. Didn't I have this guy somewhere? Guess not. Okay. Pretty good pump. So he's kind of matched Luna on that last one, where not much of crypto, nothing else has really done this. Let me even get this guy to fucking scale right. All right. I think I'd like to have seen him be out top of this more so, but this guy's like he's got his own Ponzi nomics going on here, and whatever's pushing this dude. Luna, is basically just a giant Ponzi scheme. These guys bucking the trend is likely something really specific to them, so it's up a lot. This guy would probably be worth at being up this much, waiting till he interacts with this previous high, and you see what he does up there. Between here and there, he could counterwave here, or he could push straight into it. But at this level, you at least get him to do something where you can make a plan around it, and then deal with him if he's able to push up through this. There's not much volume up here, so he really isn't going to be like that difficult to exit. This is kind of where you want to see him get above. And then he could exit that also in the same fashion. But if he sustains like above this, if he goes up here, kind of ways, and then can go up here, you're kind of waiting for like up here just to see him structure out in here. This will give him a better shot of leaving. You probably won't want to fuck with him when he gets to the spot because of the speed it's running. But up here, it will be a little bit better to play. All right. What do we get to? What are the final numbers of the show? 250? 253? Damn. Some haterade. Well, we've done our best to keep you guys on the right side of most everything that's popping up. For the people who didn't pay attention much, I guarantee you that it's not been a good time for them out there. And it takes habit, to make it through these markets, not just like great intel. If you don't use it, it doesn't really fucking matter. So for anybody who's loosely watching this stuff, like you're in a market condition that's happened like, pretty much 3 times in the last like 17 years. It is really fucking dangerous. It'll wipe your ass out. The speed the market's moving. Every up move will look like the fucking bottom, and your insta wins will become insta losses if you don't move quickly. So trying to tighten up communication in Discord to make sure that you guys are on the correct Noah's Ark and can survive this shit for however long it persists, or if it becomes the new normal. You're at 30 VIX, shit ton of central banks talking, lots of excessive risk. Be aware of that. If you're playing intraday and you get quick gains, make a plan to probably book those gains because they'll go away from you just as fast. I'm paying attention to when I can put something that I think is safe to put something inside OnlyFans. So with the market where it is, I've got to be pretty fucking precise. So I'm being very careful because there's a lot of people that obviously it would endanger if I miss. That being said, if you're super noobish, plus 30 markets doesn't mean rush in the door and see if you can gamble on it. It's really dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. We want to do a new people show, kind of go over some basics and stuff like that. If you're just totally starting out, like learn your platform. If you have paper trading and things like that, fuck off for a few weeks, because one of the things that catch you a lot when you're new is like forgetting that your fucking stop isn't set to like good till cancel, it's day, and you have a stop turn off you don't check for like fucking a couple of days and your account's mangled. Like little things like that, can be a really horrible learning experience with real money. And stuff like that shouldn't be part of it. Like if the market's hard enough to get right, you don't want something like that to be the fucking dagger that psychologically wrecks you. So fuck with your platform. Know your platform at least. Understand how to fucking place an order. Understand how to define a stop. How to set it. How to make it last longer than a day. Understand how to use a buy stop. Use a sell stop if you have to get levels and breakouts that you won't be available for. Little things like that. And if you have integrations with TradingView, it's pretty cool to trade on chart. Learn how to do that also, but play with it when it's not real money. In an environment like this, definitely don't use real money to figure out your platform. But if any of that stuff I said sounds Greek to you, then you definitely don't need to be in a live market just yet. That being said, y'all motherfuckers stay safe. Catch you on the flip. Peace.
Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome